Well, what's up, guys? Today's the next day, and got back from PA late last night. I didn't get home till like 1. Stayed up till like 3 in the morning editing the last video. Just like, what do you think? I say the car is pretty clean, but it definitely needs some love. But for the price that I picked it up for, for the price that I picked it up for, it's definitely worth it. So I know you guys said, well, I know I said you guys would probably be excited, but maybe not, because when I first seen this thing, it's a base model. Yeah, I drove 2 hours away for a base model. But the thing about this base model is it's actually an SRT. It's actually a 2004 SRT4. The guy before actually hit a deer, so it has a base model bumper, base model hood, and it has brand new fenders. It actually smokes quite a bit. The thing that sucks is, what, you say the head gas is probably blown?
Probably.
So we're gonna diagnose this real fast, do a compression test, pull the spark plugs out, check those, see what those look like. Probably put some oil in the cylinder, see if the compression bumps up. If it does, then what, piston rings are bad?
Oh, yes.
So
ATF in there, and it holds compression for a bit and then loses it.
Yeah. This car is actually really clean. It does have some rust here and there, but other than that, all the other body panels are pretty fine. It's a sunroof car. The interior is pretty mint for what it is. The only thing that sucks, though, it does have the fat boy seats, which I do not like. My plan for this car is to either daily it or most likely sell it, depending on how I feel when it's done. If worst comes to worst, we'll pull the motor out. I'll get new rings, new bearings, a new head gasket, and redo that and put it in. Or I might just buy a complete running long block and then just literally send it. So yeah, we're gonna get this taken apart and update you guys when we figure something out. All right, so we got the plugs undone. This is cylinder 1. As you can see, it is pretty dark if it'll focus. Oh yeah, that thing is cooked. For sure. She is cooked. Now we're gonna go to cylinder 2, which is the misfire cylinder. And yeah, she is no bueno at all. There's definitely coolant in the oil. The spark plug's way too clean. Dude, look at that. That is crazy.
That's no bueno. That's shiny.
Yeah, she is. Yeah, that cylinder is gone. Cylinder 3, same thing. Ran completely rich. Definitely has a lot of carbon buildup on it. That one sucks. And cylinder 4. Yeah, so this thing is running completely rich. Cylinder 4 is not even firing at all. Definitely head gasket is blown. So now we're gonna do a compression test on it. See what the cylinders are reading, and after that, what?
Possibly the teardown.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, we're gonna do a compression test, see what those look like, and depending on what it is and what we find out, we honestly might fucking pull this motor today. So we'll see. So I got the coil pack, plugs, and wires taken out. As you can see, I have the compression tester already set up. So I'm gonna go ahead, crank the car over, and see what the compression tester maxes out at, and see how much pressure we have in the cylinder. All right, so as you can see, cylinder 1 has around 152 PSI in that cylinder, which isn't terrible. That's not bad. Usually you don't want to see under 135 or maybe even under 100. The next cylinder that I am skeptical about is cylinder 2, so we're actually going to save that for last, and then we're going to go to cylinder 3. Actually, you know what, scratch that. We're just going to go straight down the board and just have it even as possible. So we're just going to go to cylinder 2 right now, and then cylinder 3, and then cylinder 4. So yeah. Well, yep, just like I said, cylinder 2 is completely dead. There is no compression in it at all. So the piston rings on this one is completely shot, as well as the head gasket is most likely bad. We won't fully know until we drain the oil. If the oil looks a little milky, then we know that the head gasket is definitely blown. But as you can see in that cylinder, that the piston rings are completely fried. I do have a leak down tester, which we might do just to see how well the valve seals are, and hopefully those are good. But as of right now, from that needle not moving at all, cylinder 2 is completely dead, which I knew, but I just want to double check everything before I pull this motor out and order parts for this thing, like rings, bearings, and all that, just to freshen it up. Or if, you know, just like I said before, if I want to get a long block, I may do that, because that's going to be the easier option. I'd rather save the rebuild motor process for my blue SRT and rather just swap in a new motor for this. So now we're going to check cylinder 3 and then cylinder 4. Alright, so this is the compression test for cylinder 3. It's basically the same as cylinder 1. It has around 150 to 152 psi. So now we're going to do cylinder 4 and then see what that one's at, and then maybe do a leak down test. If not, then to be honest, I'm going to raise it up, look at the underneath, see how the underneath looks, and drain the oil, drain the coolant, and then to be honest, probably pull the motor out today. Alright, so this is the compression test for cylinder 4. Cylinder 1, 3, and 4 are like literally almost identical. As you can see, cylinder 2 is literally 0 psi of pressure, which sucks. So that just leads me to believe that the piston rings are fried. So now we're going to raise it up, look underneath, see how everything looks, check all the suspension and all that, and then we're going to drain the oil and then see if there's any metal shavings, or see if it's like a milky brown color. So all right, so as you see, I got the car in the air and the rust isn't that bad, to be honest. There's a little surface rust on the rear subframe, which these are commonly known to rust quite a bit, so that's actually pretty clean. As you can see, there is some quarter panel rust on the side, and then also there is starting to have a little surface rust on the side there. Other than that, as you can see, like the rockers have some surface rust on them. You know, like the pinch rolls right here are starting to rust a little bit, so I got to get that fixed. Other than that, the rest of the body's pretty clean. It has a full Borla exhaust system on it from the catback, so that's actually pretty neat. The underneath, as you can see, it is leaking quite a bit of oil. The control arms do look like they need replaced, so I would definitely, you know, replace those and everything else and get everything checked over. So yeah. Oil's dark. Doesn't look like anything is on the drain plug, so that's good. Oil is actually pretty thick, so this head gasket actually might be okay. It's probably just the piston rings that are completely shot. So yeah, everything actually looks pretty good. Alright, so drain the oil and actually looking deeper into it, there actually is coolant in the oil, so the head gasket is blown. I was looking to get a motor for my blue SRT, and I'm actually going to take the motor out of this, rebuild it on the side for mine, and then find a long block and swap that in here and maybe daily drive it or something like that. So we're actually going to start pulling the motor out of this thing. Alright, so just a little update here. I've been busting ass on this car like crazy. I got the front struts off, I got the outer tie rods off and all that. All I gotta do is just pull the axles out. And then as I'm slowly starting to get more and more into this car, I realized whoever owned this thing and worked on it was literally a absolute retard. Just the way they ran the vacuum lines and all that. Literally, like, whoever had this definitely should not have owned it. I'm honestly kind of glad that I got it, because in that way I'm actually going to basically bring it back to life. So this is basically the part 1 video, and there'll definitely be a couple other parts to this video as well. So as you can see, I got the air filter off and all that, the intake. As you guys may know, this is basically supposed to route from the PCV valve on the valve cover, and it's supposed to go right to this port. Well, whoever owned this put this port going down to the blow-off valve that you can see down there. So it's literally just dumping extra oil basically out of the motor into the blow-off valve. That's not supposed to route like that. They're actually supposed to take it from this little elbow T right here. That's supposed to go to the blow-off valve as a vacuum source. This is not. So whoever worked on this car, just as I said before, definitely did not know what they were doing. So I'm just gonna pull a little bit off and then basically call it a day after that. So. All right, so a little update. I basically got almost everything completely pulled apart. The harness is almost off. The next thing I have to do is just pull the downpipe off and then just drop the motor mounts and hook the cherry picker up and then yank this motor out. And yeah, that's basically about it. Also, as you can see, whoever seriously worked on this car was an absolute retard. All that oil came out of the front mount and the intake manifold. As soon as I pulled the throttle cable off and opened up the flap for the throttle body, it just dumped out a shit ton of oil. So literally, this is about to be taken off. All the bolts are off of that, and then literally just hook the cherry picker up, disconnect the rest of the harness, and then the motor should be coming right out. All right, well, remember how I said someone does not know how to work on this fucking car? And there's a lot of oil in the intake manifold? Well, this is the front mount. Oh my God. Literally, dude, literally since I pulled the intake manifold off in the front mount, there's probably what, like 4 quarts of oil on the ground?
Oh yeah.
Dude, that is,
There you go.
oh my God.
Oh, that's good. It's good.
This is a lot of work. That is a lot of work right there.
Came out of the intercooler. It's not.
So as you guys can see, I got the whole entire harness disconnected. In the last clip, you see I pulled the trans out. This definitely looks like the OEM throttle bearing and pivot fork and clutch that was in here. The car drove fine. The trans didn't have any issues, no third gear grind or anything like that. So that's meant it's actually a T850 trans. For those of you who know SRTs, those are actually one of the best trans. Not the best, but those are the trans everybody looks for. Does have LSD and all that. The valves look pretty good. I can't see the exhaust valves yet. Whoever had this car, they cut the AC line, which is pretty stupid, but oh well. Turbo shot. That turbo's like C, so I'm just gonna get a stock turbo for that. That is the OEM clutch that's in there. And then now I just got to disconnect one sensor back there and then disconnect the 3 motor mounts on this side, and then the motor should come right out. And then once we pull the motor out, then I can go ahead and set it down on the tire, and I'll bring my engine stand into work tomorrow and then get that all set up, and then we'll do the teardown process tomorrow and then see the damage that occurred in the motor. Hopefully nothing serious, because I do want to build this motor for my E-Blue SRT, and then this I just want either daily or flip, something like that. I'm not sure yet. As you can see, I laid out all the parts, everything that came off. Everything is still good. Struts are good, axles are good. Literally everything on this is good. The only thing I will be replacing is the front mount. I I do plan on replacing that. I might use the hard pipes that came off this car and put them on mine. And if I'm feeling nice for whoever buys this car, I may throw on a set of coilovers. I'm not sure what brand yet. So I'll figure that out. And yeah, so let's just get this motor pulled out, clean up, and get the hell out of here because I am ready to go home. So as you guys can see, the motor is out, and today was pretty fun. Now we're gonna clean this mess up and get the fuck out of here. Because I don't know about you, but I'm fucking tired. I'm dirty as shit, and I want to go home. So, and then tomorrow I will be pulling this apart and seeing what the hell this guy fucked up with this motor. So, yep. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next video. Peace.